Around 1 in 5 people in Britain live in social housing, and in today's tough climate, the waiting lists are growing every week. For those on the list for a new home, it can be a traumatic time.
So it's a horrible situation to have to move back into your mum and dad's, who've just retired with 2 young children. It's just not fair.
The housing officers know that in some cases, the only solution is to build. But where can cause uproar.
I've got tenants of mine around here who are desperate for a bungalow.
We keep going to the end. No way are we backing down now. No way.
Despite the shortage of houses, a few tenants seem to have no respect for what they've got.
They found needles in the drawers, they found them in the clothes, they found them in the bed, they found them everywhere, littered through everything.
In Ashton-under-Lyne, east of Manchester, one housing association currently has over 8,000 people on its waiting list.
Where's your shoes?
Working mum Claire Garrett and her 2 children Leah and Lewis are in desperate need of their own home.
Horrible situation, 34 years old, to have to move back into your mum and dad's, who've just retired with 2 young children. My dad's poorly and it's just not nice. When you go to dancing tonight, Leah, ask Grandma to check your shoes.
Although Claire works full-time, when her marriage broke down, she couldn't afford the mortgage on her own, and she was forced to move back to her mum and dad's.
No.
She couldn't afford the rent, and with all the rest of the bills. And then it just got to a point where it was talked about that she was finding it difficult. And then she just said, I just can't manage anymore. She was crying, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Can I come home? I can't cope, I can't manage. So, of course, we said, yeah, just, you know, put everything into operation then. They're not in the toy box in the front room.
I mean, we love them to bits and all that. But it is hard because you don't get any time to yourself kind of thing. It's just hard with everybody all crowded into a small little house like this.
Yeah.
For the last 2 months, Claire's been sleeping on her parents' sofa, unable to find a house cheap enough to rent.
I had a look yesterday at the private renting, and they're all over £600. It's more than half my wages. There's just no way I could do it. I'd end up in the same position again. So it's not a good situation to be in.
See you in a bit, Brenda.
See you, Lewis.
Have a nice day.
Claire has never lived in social housing, but as she can no longer afford to rent privately, she must now put her future in the hands of a local housing association. Shauna Hildersley is a lettings manager, whose job it is to make sure those with the greatest need are in the best position to get a new home.
These are all our stats that we measure on a weekly basis. In the past week, we had 217 applications, and we actually let that week 25 properties. We allocate the properties to the person with the most points, so the more points you get, the more chance you've got of being successful with your bid.
Prospective tenants are awarded points for a variety of reasons, including overcrowding, illness and lone parenting.
We unfortunately can't help everybody, and that's why we've got a point system in place to determine who's in most housing need. So the people with the most points will be the people who needed the most help.
Claire currently has 200 points, but she'll need more if she's to stand a chance of a new home. She's waiting for a visit from Shauna to assess her situation.
When you go into the Manchester area, there's a 10-year waiting list. I'm helping myself. I work full-time. I have done for 18 years. I finished school on the Friday and I started work on the Monday. I've never not worked. My mum and dad have worked all their lives. We've paid into the system, so that system should give us something back now when we need it.
With a huge shortage of homes, it's vital that any empty houses are turned around and let to new tenants as quickly as possible. Housing officer Julie Lyle works in Preston, where she looks after over 1,000 properties.
This estate's made up entirely of family housing. There's no flats on here at all. They are all family properties that are, you know, 3-bedroom ones. The other thing, obviously, with it being families, there's a really good community spirit in the area.
Today, Julie is on her way to visit one 3-bed house on this estate that neighbours claim has been used as a drugs den. There's been no sign of the official tenant for months.
Well, it was just a DOS house. It was just a drug den, somewhere that they come and take the drugs, you know, and then somewhere to run when they've nicked something.
Michelle and her 12-year-old son Thomas have been living in fear for over 18 months.
You'll see people coming flying around in cars after they've done drugs, parking up, going in, coming out with them bands on and everything. It's disgusting, really.
I mean, my kids have come in before with the needles, you know, showing me, has picked them up, my 5-year-old, in the back garden, so that was a concern.
The Housing Association have been trying to contact the official tenant for months with no joy. Now Julie needs to inspect and reclaim the property. Since drug users have been frequenting the house, the police are on standby in case someone turns up.
I'm basically spraying my feet and my shoes with flea spray. We have to spray this, otherwise we end up getting bitten to death. Lisa, one of our other housing officers, did a change at locksmith the other week, and he had 54 bites and she had 29 on the bottom of her leg. So obviously, unless you go in prepared, you can end up getting really badly bitten by him.
Julie's got no idea what state the house will be in.
It's absolutely disgusting. There's cobwebs everywhere. The floor's covered in some kind of black liquid. I'm not quite sure what that is. I mean, the smell's a lot worse when you come into this room now. It's drifting through from the front room, so I dread to think what's in there, but it's absolutely disgusting. What I've just seen now, as we've been looking out the corner of my eyes, if we look up there, there's a knife on the sill, and it's up there above the door. Now, obviously, that's not a normal place where you keep your kitchenware. It just concerns me for Scurry. He's obviously been in here armed at one point, and that concerns me, obviously, what has been going on in this property. It used to obviously be someone's family home, that he was living in here maybe with his family. So you've got quite a lot of knickknacks about, and trophy pictures, little, like, angels at the back. But he's had quite a lot of windows smashed. That's not just one hole, there's about 4 or 5 just in that single pane.
71-year-old Ronnie lives right next door to the property.
Because they are thin walls, they are prefabs, let's be honest, you know. So you can hear everything, really, you know, what goes on. You know, when they're banging, I could hear them banging. I thought, God, what, they're smashing up now. If you have noisy neighbours or untidy and dirty neighbours and that, you can't be happy. You know, so what do? This is your home, this is your house, you know, and it's not that you can just uproot and just move into another area. Things don't happen like that these days. Years ago, yeah, years and years ago, there were tons of houses to rent, cheap enough for everybody to move in and out whenever they weren't satisfied, but not nowadays. Once you get a house now, you've got to stick in it.
Next door, Julie is discovering exactly what Ronnie has been living next to.
So if downstairs is like this, concern is upstairs is twice as bad. Oh, no, I can see what's in it from here. You've got a lot of needles that look like they're ready to be used or been set up ready to use. Never found this many in one property. There's hundreds in there. I mean, you've got your spoons on here to prepare drugs on here as well.
It seems the neighbours were right, and the official tenant has been allowing the house to be used as a drugs den.
Is he either dealing or is he allowing people in, or is he being bullied into letting them in at some point, you know? We just don't know, because he wouldn't, you know, we've not had any contact from him despite numerous attempts. It's not in good condition at all. It's one of the worst I've ever been in. We're now going to have to pay to get it cleared out. There's nothing of any value that will need storing from here. It's going to cost probably into the thousands to get this property ready to let. There's that much of a shortage of family homes at the moment. Family could be here, living here, using it as a home, and it's just, to see it in this condition, it's absolutely just disgusting.
20 years ago, most social housing was council-owned, but today, almost half is provided by a new breed of social landlord, the Housing Association. In the Lancashire Hills, housing manager Patrick Collins has 15 years' experience of letting houses.
3 favourite letters. L-E-T.
Yeah.
Get them let.
Right.
We have massive waiting lists. It's almost scary when we think about the amount of people out there vulnerable, in need, who we can't actually help. But it's not just about... I think what the issue is, our houses just aren't bricks and mortar. They're actually homes that people want to live in, and they make them into homes. We really care with regards to who lives in our properties and the service they receive. As a landlord, we want to make sure that what's out in that community is well looked after, and they're happy to stay and live in them areas. OK, next point. Sandbury Crescent, Nelson. Some of you might not know, but...
Patrick is briefing his team about plans for a potential new housing development on a plot of land which his association already own.
Looking at possibly in a situation where we could build some new bungalows. 8, I do believe, 2-bedroom bungalows, which would be fantastic if we can. Problem is, we're going to be building it on that piece of green land in the middle. Because of where it is, it could be a little bit controversial, because if people live around that piece of land, we need to find out what the residents are going to think.
For 60 years, residents of Sandbury Crescent have been enjoying a green and pleasant outlook from their 1950s semis. Housing officers Lee Barrett and Mark Bottomley are on their way to find out what the local residents think of the proposed new development.
Hello, it's Mark and Lee from Housing Pendle. We wrote last week a general letter to everyone on Sandbury Crescent about the proposal to build 8 bungalows on the grassed area.
We're taking away a very valuable space that I consider is valuable for kids.
I'm not in favour of it at all, no, because it is destroying part of what we have here. It's going to be a big upset for everybody. It is, it's going to be a big upset.
All the kids around here play on here, and all they have to do, look through the window, the kids are there safe.
And this is all we've got left for kids. Yeah. They're safe on here.
Yeah.
This is a good neighbourhood. When you look round some council estates, this, I would say, is it has to be one of the best.
To me, that's a village green. We're a community.
It's been referred to as that by
we are a community. We're a community.
We do not want to lose that green. No. And I don't want to open my curtains first thing in the morning and see buildings right in front of me. When for 22 years, I've opened them to this. And I don't want to lose it.
Despite the lack of support from some local residents, the development will continue for now.
On our waiting list, we've got 2,500 people waiting for accommodation. Some of them will be families, some will be single people, some people with disabilities, elderly people, all sorts of criteria. At this moment in time, we've got about 35 empty properties available at any one time. That's not even scratching the surface of clearing a waiting list. By building 8 properties, it is a start. It's nothing more than that, but I haven't got them at the minute, so an 8 is an absolute tremendous amount when we've started from nothing. So let's build 8 and let's build another 88, but it still won't be enough.
In Ashton, Claire Garrett's waiting for an assessment from the local housing association that could move her up the priority list. She is still living with her parents, but her dad's been ill.
His blood count's gone up. He was rushed into Withington Hospital. I had to phone for an ambulance because he had a funny turn. They put him in resource and he was all wired up, wasn't you?
Shona Hildersley doesn't normally make home visits, but as Claire's dad has been so ill, she is making an exception.
Hello. Hey, Shona.
Yes.
Yeah, come in.
Claire has to give Shona a tour of her parents' privately owned 3-bedroom home.
All the usual kiddie things.
That's been Mum and Dad's room. I won't.
No, that's fine.
Shona can allocate Claire additional points for different things, including overcrowding and ill health.
OK.
As you can see, the wardrobe space, my dad's had to put shelves up and the wardrobe, well, they're just packed with everything.
Where's all your furniture, Claire?
In storage.
So you're paying a storage charge for your furniture?
£100 a month, yeah.
OK, so where do you sleep then, Claire?
I sleep on the settee in the lounge.
This is your bed, is it? That's right. OK. When did you have your heart bypass operation, Mr Charlton? Was it recent?
April 2007, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Any other medical conditions?
Leukemia.
And how's that affected?
You get very tired now, don't you?
You get very tired soon, quick.
And sometimes he needs to lie down, but you can't when there's children here.
No.
Thanks for calling.
Oh, you're welcome.
Sure, it's been a lovely meeting.
And you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Just keep persevering.
If Claire gave up her job and went on benefits, or if her parents made her homeless, she'd find it easier to get a house.
It's very sad that, you know, she's trying her best, she's working, she's not prepared to just accept anything. She doesn't want to go on benefits to try and get her out of the situation that she's in. I'm going to speak to Sharon when I get back regarding the circumstances and regarding whether or not we could look at medical points for the family. But I didn't want to say that to them because I didn't want to build up their hopes.
In Preston, Julie Lyle has had to halt her search of the three-bedroom house which was being used as a drugs den until a specialist cleaning team are available to help with the large number of dangerous needles in the property. The official tenant has not been living in the house for months, and Julie has been trying to trace him without success. But outside, there's a surprise arrival.
Right, come here. It says 28 days from the date of the letter.
The official tenant has miraculously appeared. Whilst he is camera shy, his friend is the opposite.
Hello.
Basically, the gentleman, his friend, have now turned up, been drinking, doing everything.
It's not just drug taking that's been a problem in the tenant's absence.
There's a lawnmower, a drill and a tyre that the police suspect may be stolen goods, so there's a van coming to collect those now. You tell me.
Where's that lawnmower?
For now at least, Julie can secure the house, keeping local residents safe from the hazardous contents inside. On Sainsbury Crescent, the residents' determination to save their green is building. They've decided to launch a campaign. Karen Riley is one of the organisers.
Everybody is pulling together. The petition's been done and has been delivered to Housing Pendle's Chief Executive. We've done a lot of signs, voicing our views. We've got in touch with local councillors, with the planning office, local newspapers, and basically doing everything that we can. We will go as far as we can possibly go within the law to not let this happen.
But housing manager Patrick Collins is unrepentant about the need to build the bungalows.
The community spirit on it is obviously fantastic. They've all pulled together. Not one person's done all these banners, so that's great. But really, they're not all together because there's people on here who need these properties, and we know that they do need these properties. People who can't manage the stairs of the properties, people who are really struggling with mobility issues and are desperate for this sort of property. So the majority, who are probably under 50 with children, don't need the sort of properties we're going to build. So obviously they're going to kick a fuss up. But I've got tenants of mine around here who are desperate for a bungalow.
Thomas and Phyllis have had a flat on the green for 10 years. Phyllis's weak heart means she's unable to manage the 19 steps from her flat, leaving her housebound.
We've both had things happen to us in this last 4 years, which has made it harder for us to get about, you know. Well, I've had 2 heart attacks and a stroke since we came here.
And diabetes, she didn't have it before. I sympathise with these people that they want to keep the green. It's nice. It's a nice environment. you know, living here. We need a bungalow. I'm not bothered where it is. I would like a bungalow somewhere.
It's just a shame they've got to build the bungalows there, but they've got to build them somewhere, haven't they? But you've got to think about older people like us, and these bungalows as a chance to give quite a few people a fresh start in life, where there's something they can manage and don't have to wait for the family to come to take them out in a wheelchair or anything. If they could just get to the car by walking up the little drive, it would, you know, it would be okay. You know, it would be great. But there'll probably be about 200 people wanting them.
Despite some support for the development, Karen Riley has more than one reason to fight against it.
So this is the front of our houses. As you can see, a couple of green areas and the main one that we're fighting for. This is my back garden. Used to spend a lot of time out here. We had a kids' swimming pool, gazebos up, we've had a lot of barbecues, family parties. Unfortunately, we don't use our back garden anymore because of this. This is the new Pendle Vale College that has been under construction for the past 2 years. Constant noise. As you can see, there's machinery, heavy machinery on here all day, all night, all the lights are left on. Security are up and down, chatting on the phones, can't leave your windows open. And it's just generally been an absolute nightmare. Then we're told that we have to put up with another construction going on our green, and after putting up with all this and the noise, that is a big reason as to why we appreciate our green on the front so much.
In Ashton-under-Lyne, Claire still doesn't know if she'll get a new home.
Then the garden falls more for the more mature person.
Every week she looks through the Housing Association's list of available properties, but when she applies, she always finds she is beaten to it by someone with more points.
It's a local newspaper that, because I have points with New Charter, that I can bid for properties. So I look in every week and I've bid for 3 properties now, and obviously not been successful. I've resigned myself now to the fact that I'm not going to get anything from this.
We'll just have to keep our fingers crossed that something will turn up eventually.
A lottery.
Sharon?
At the Housing Association head office, lettings manager Shona Hildersley is discussing Claire's case with another member of staff.
Her father suffers from leukemia and has also had a triple heart bypass. In view of the fact that she's living with somebody who has got a serious medical condition, and them living there could exacerbate his condition, would we look at a medical in respect of him?
We've actually done it before with somebody else. Just award 100 medical points, make it clear on the notes as to the reasons why we've done it, that it's a one-off and it's because of the extreme circumstances.
Oh, good. Claire, it's Shona from New Charter Housing here. Yes, I'm fine, thank you. Are you?
Yeah, fine.
What we've agreed to do is to award your case maximum medical points.
Yeah.
It does put you in a much better position, and I'll sort that out today for you.
Thank you very much for all your help, Sean. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's no problem.
All right.
All right.
Cheers.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. That's fantastic news for Claire. What that means in real terms is that she's got a better chance of competing for something that she needs. She is in there with a fighting chance, but no guarantees. It's not a magic answer.
In Lancashire, it's a big day for the campaigners at Sainsbury Crescent. In order to give all the residents a clearer idea of the planned development, the builders, architects and housing officers are giving a presentation of the plans.
As they come through the door, we'll get them to sign in. They'll go and get a beer, they'll get a pie. So the one hand they'll have a pie, another beer. You can't get quite aggressive with that in your hand, that's for sure. I'll float around, and if somebody's giving a bit too much stick to anybody, I'll just come over and step in. At the end of the day, I'm sure they'll be very OK about it, but we're not going to be put up with anybody abusing anybody, yeah?
As the residents gather, some are beginning to wonder if they're being led up the garden path.
I would love to live on there.
I don't know how many people are going to turn up tonight because some are working
I know somebody's had 6 teeth out, so they've gone to bed. And I don't know about the rest of them. I think a lot of them think like we do, it's been a done deal right from the beginning.
We won't go down without a fight. We won't, but it's like banging your head against a brick wall, isn't it?
The meeting proves more popular than expected.
We do need a bungalow, we do.
You personally need a bungalow?
The access hours is terrible.
So you...
And not everyone is against the development.
Yeah. Because I've got lots of people similar to yourself.
Yes.
Phyllis hasn't been well enough to come along, but her husband Thomas wants to look at the plans for the new bungalows.
These are very specifically designed for people like you who are older and sometimes probably partly disabled and they can't use this. So we have designed the whole of the bungalows basically to take into consideration. Would you like to live in a place like that?
Oh, aye, too true, wouldn't that? Aye.
You know, I don't care whether they've got 1 bedroom or 2, we don't want them.
OK, but speak to the relevant people, get some more information. You might even change your mind, you just never know. That's fine. But the idea was to have a drop-in centre so you could speak. Yeah?
We didn't actually ask for a drop-in. We didn't ask for a drop-in.
Hang on a second. See all these educated people around here, they know what they're talking about. Please have a word with them. Any questions you need asking from me then, please come talk to me.
They don't want to, I mean, experience there very quickly, they don't want to listen. I'll answer any questions, not that it's my role to, but I'll answer any questions once they've got all the informed information. But don't just come and want an argument, at least go and speak to these people who spent a lot of time organising the plans, coming from a long way, to discuss it. But if you don't want to discuss it, what can you do? But
right, I believe I have to come and speak to you, so I will give you the courtesy as soon as you've been nice enough to come and see us. So what can you tell us?
Basically, you've got 3 pairs of semi-detached bungalows and 2 detached bungalows. Every bungalow's got off-road parking, and each of them.
Where's the off-road parking?
This is your off-road parking here.
I've lived there 12 years and been asked for off-road parking.
I've lived there 21 years.
Well, we don't want the bungalows. In the store.
We don't want them. Excuse me, have you got some more green where you can build houses? We have children.
We've got a gentleman down there with a term near one. They've gone through hell with the school and now you're going to put them through more hell with building.
2 things can we agree. Do we agree that the bungalows are needed?
Yes.
But the issue is you don't want them built where you people live?
Yeah.
OK. So that'll go through the proper process, due process. Hang on a second, planning application, you people will be able to have your say, and then the decision will be made.
Yeah, we keep going to the end. No way are we backing down now. No way. You know, unfortunately, these people that have been here tonight are the ones that really are just the messengers. You know, and they've been quite polite on the whole, and listened and answered questions, but they haven't given us the answers we want, so we will carry on.
In Ashton, Claire is still struggling to find the right home for herself and her children. Her extra points haven't been quite enough and she's still on the waiting list. With no house on the horizon, she is now no longer able to pay £100 a month to keep her belongings in storage.
I thought I'd have a house within a couple of months and I'd be able to move everything back in. But it's not looking that way.
She has been forced to make a tough decision and has decided to sell all her furniture.
Set it up as it was in the house and take pictures and try and sell it. Does anyone want to take it home? Take it home, buy it off me.
Put it all back round there.
When this lot's gone, I've lost everything. I've worked for all this, you know, and now I've got to sell it. Regularly can't move the kitchen.
Back at home, Claire's mum helps her sort through her things. Inside the boxes are lots of memories.
No, not putting tiny table, we can't do. I bought her that when she was, well, we bought that when she was 5. Put the spades with it. Just need some clothes for you, don't we, love? We'll have a good sort through most of it. I'll get through out, and then whatever she can sell on a car boot sale, we'll do that. You know. She's got nothing after once all this goes. It does upset me after the way she's worked hard for it all. It'll be fine. But you've worked so hard to get what you've got. Always me being a silly old woman.
On Sainsbury Crescent, where local residents are still campaigning to stop bungalows being built on their green, there's been some unexpected activity.
It was about 8 o'clock, and the doorman said, "Do you know there's a digger on the green?" So I jumped straight out of bed, no clothes on. I'm doing that. Whoa! Clothes on. Straight out, I said, "What are you doing? You better not be bloody digging on here already. Planning permission hasn't been given till December." "Oh, no, I'm just doing tests." And then he went through what he was going on about.
But they came to dig in every place where the bungalows are supposed to go.
What he was looking for was the edge of the quarry, and he said, "Well, to be honest with you, I think they might have problems digging here."
We're just not sure what's down there and whether the land's safe, isn't it?
They've basically left it, and he just said that they were going to put the report in. They didn't really think that it would be cost effective to build on the land.
We've had a survey done on this particular piece of land, and actually we've had to go down quite some way before we found anything solid. Now that's not good. That certainly adds to the cost of any build, and it's being debated now whether the actual scheme will go ahead due to the cost. I'm told it's still positive, but the cost will increase due to the instability of the land, and therefore possibly almost unsuitable for what we want to do. But we'll see. Better people than me will decide whether this goes ahead or not. We could have all got excited over nothing, really.
Whilst the accountants recalculate the cost of the new development, the wait has been too long for one elderly couple. Thomas has some very sad news about Phyllis.
I lost my wife a few weeks ago, and it was quite a knock. She was in hospital 3 weeks, but she didn't suffer, and she went peacefully, so it was that consolation. But we have to get on, life has to go on, hasn't it, you know. I'd like to get moved from here because the access is terrible. There was a bungalow came empty higher up, and we inquired about it, and he said, to my daughter, he said, "Oh no, we've signed it up to somebody." And he said, "Well, Mr. Scott won't need a 2-bedroom bungalow now." But I will, I think, if somebody wants to come and stay. So I don't know what'll happen. I'm still hoping they'll build these.
Anxious for an update, Karen stops Patrick to hear the latest.
If they're going too far down and the foundations are that far down that it costs so much money to put foundations in, then it's not viable. So
Said there are a lot of voids, didn't they?
I bet there's a lot of voids. But it'll sort it out when we do.
Sounds really positive, Mr.
As I said, we might have all got excited over nothing.
Well,
From your point of view, it's a great thing. From my point of view, I obviously need some properties, whether it's here or somewhere else, but...
Exactly, yeah. But where does that leave it then? Because if the land's been designated to build on, does that mean then that nothing...
Well, if the land's been designated to build on, they always could build on it.
Right.
But it's cost
But they're gonna come
implications.
up with the same-
Well, the thing is, yeah, whoever builds on here, there's cost implication. If it's too dear to build something, then they ain't going to build on it.
So as soon as I know, I'll let you know.
Thanks.
See you later.
All right, thank you.
Ta-ra.
See you later.
In Preston, Julie's back at the house that was being used as a drugs den to meet a specialist cleaning team. Their job is to clear the hazardous needles that were found all over the property.
I even have my Vic stick. I'm not stupid, I know it smells. I remember from last time it wasn't nice.
The team wear protective clothing and, most importantly, metal-lined gloves to protect them from the risk of HIV.
When the lads have been doing the sweep as well, it's not just in the obvious places on top they found needles. They found needles in the drawers, they found them in the clothes, they found them in the bed, they found them behind the radiator, they found them on the telly, they found them everywhere, littered through everything. I mean, the lads have actually only done 2 rooms, and so far they've found hundreds of needles in the property.
It has taken the team 6 hours to remove all the needles and clear the house. But finally it's safe, and Julie can start thinking about reletting it to her family.
It can be quite frustrating that obviously if a property's damaged or there's major repairs that need doing to it, obviously it'll cost quite a bit of money to fix that. Once everything's been stored and obviously cleaned, the surveyor will come in, then order any work that needs doing, then the work will be carried out, and then obviously it'll be ready for somebody to come and view and hopefully ready for somebody to move into pretty soon.
For next-door neighbour Michelle, life is finally returning to normal.
A bit quieter. You don't see, you know, the faces around anymore, so I feel a bit safer, you know. But I'm glad now that they've come and boarded it up.
We'll get some new neighbours in there for her, hopefully that, you know, make the community stronger and have more people living here and looking after the properties.
It will cost thousands to repair the property, but it's crucial work that must be done before another family can be moved off the list and into the house.
Leo, don't you dare.
Hey, what?
Where's Lewis? On a Thursday night, it's manic. In, out, in, out. Mum and Dad get a bit of peace, though.
It's been several months since Claire moved back in with her mum and dad, and she's slowly coming to terms with her new life.
We've all resigned ourselves now. She's going to be with us for a long time.
Told you, Grandad's got a beanie hat. Hey, it doesn't matter. Well, that's Grandad for his hat.
You know, everybody just gets on.
You have? Not a balaclava. You're not wearing your balaclava?
When they're getting told off. And don't say anything. When they're getting told off.
I am so lucky that I've got you and my dad and a loving family that, you know, if I didn't have you and my dad, where would you be?
You know, you're going to have a few cross words, but we never did. Well, we haven't, have we?
No, not as yet.
Not as yet. No, it's not working out too bad, actually.
It's got to be all right, isn't it? Mother, as long as you're happy, don't matter, does it?
At Sainsbury Crescent, the residents are still waiting for a final decision about whether bungalows will be built on their green.
There's still the community spirit going on. Everybody's still fighting to keep this green as it should be.
In the belief that no news is good news, Karen and the residents are seizing the day.
Bonfire night, and we've all come together for some fireworks. So we've got a bit of potato pie going on and a bit of chilli, and we're all having a good time.
Whether the new development goes ahead or not, the housing association's waiting lists continue to climb, and the need for new homes is as pressing as ever.
And there's more Neighbourhood watched next Tuesday at 10:35 on BBC One Scotland.